Hello my angels and devils and all who may wander here. I apologise for the crappy lighting. Unfortunately, we have had that kind of weather. I kind of almost didn't do this today because I wanted to wait for better weather. But I'm all set up, ready to go to film 2 DIY at home Disney treats for you. The first one is one I have promised for so long, and I am so sorry it has taken me so long to do this. I'm going to be honest and say I kind of overindulged in them and they made me a bit sick, so do not eat too many of these at once is what I'm going to tell you, or over a few days. Make sure you space them out. So I've actually cut this recipe in half to what I normally do. It is, I had already started to film this and realised I didn't have the almond meal. So that is half a cup of desiccated and half a cup of shredded. So what I normally do is do half a bag of each with about half a cup of almond meal. I'm not doing that this time, I'm making a smaller batch. You can do the whole bag. These are 250 gram bags. If you put them together, add in about half a cup to a cup of almond meal and some sugar, use three eggs and then see how they hold together if you need another egg. I just lost my lighting, wonderful. So I'm going to do about a quarter of a cup of the almond meal because this is half and half, so I don't need half a cup of almond meal. And then I've grabbed a spoon. I'm just got everything in my bowl here. I have grabbed a spoon to do just a spoonful of sugar. Helps the medicine go down, medicine go down. Okay, because, yeah, just a little bit, because you don't need to add a lot of sugar to these, and in fact, if you wanted to leave the sugar out, you probably could. I've just gotten used to adding the sugar in, and it does add a nice little crunch to things and help them brown nicely. So you're just going to mix it all together in your bowl. It's that simple. It really is super simple. I will post my normal recipe below because you know the measurements for this one, and then you just mix it all together. Move all your stuff out of the way. Grab a fork because it's a much easier thing to do with a fork. Then we're just going to crack an egg into the mix. So just cracked an egg. Oh. I'm trying to show you the egg and it doesn't want to show. There we go. Crack an egg, and then you're just going to mix it with the fork, and you're going to keep mixing it until everything comes together. I'm not sure if 1 egg is enough for this. I usually use 2, but as I said, I usually do. So I'm just going to sit this down. So your motion is a push, push, pull kind of thing, like you're making a dough without using your hands. I mean, you can get if you're one of those cooks who likes to get their fingers into their food, do it. I mean, I normally am, but for some reason with macaroons, with the coconut macarons, I haven't wanted to. So basically you just want every bit of your mix to be nice and moist. So basically your moister bits you mix through the drier mix until you get, I'll show you in a minute. It's going to take me a little minute. So this is how it's looking as it's mixing. I am really sorry I haven't done this tutorial before now. I'm actually going to be shooting 2 today, and I'm really kind of a bit bummed because I know the lighting isn't going to be very good. Even if I had filmed earlier today, it just would not have been as good, but it is Tasty Tuesday, and I like to make sure I have something up for each of my days, and I have been really slack on my videos lately. I crashed pretty hard after the bout of hypomania, I'm not going to lie. I'm still in that crash mode. So for me, that's why I might not see my bubbly upbeat self, because I'm still in crash mode. I'm tired, I'm not sleeping properly. In fact, I'm not getting to sleep. Actually, it's gone down an hour or 2. I'm going to bed now at about 3 or 4 as opposed to 5 or 6, so I am slowly getting everything back under control. Okay, so this is the mix, and yes, it worked fine with 1 egg. You could probably even, if you wanted to, add in a bit more coconut and stuff, but now here's the thing. If you want yours to be snowy white, don't use your egg yolk, make sure your almond meal has no little flecks of brown like mine does, or don't use the almond meal. I added the almond meal because the recipes I read online all had almond extract, and I don't like almond extract. Oh, excuse me. feel like I'm going to sneeze and I just don't want to sneeze over everything. Mind you, I'm the only one that eats it, so it's fine, but, you know, I was taught not to sneeze in food. Okay, so that's what your mix looks like. Now what you're going to do is I have an egg cup. And I have a little plate, and you're going to have to give me a second. Me trying not to sneeze over everything. That was hilarious. I'm so sorry. I've had a bit of a runny nose lately. Thank God it's just me who eats these things, because I'd feel really bad. I'm really careful when I'm prepping food most of the time, especially when it involves doing something for other people. Okay. I think that moment has passed. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your egg cup. Now, this might seem like an odd thing to grab, but what I found is you get uniformity, and we're making mini Matterhorn macaroons because I just thought these would be so cute for a Disney themed party. And I actually made a batch of coconut macaroons and was like, well, what could I do? How could I sort of get them out? Sort of banging them out, I suppose would be the way to say it, like get it, turn out. So what you do is you just lightly pack it, and then you turn it upside down. Okay, that one might be a little lightly packed because it's going to fall apart. You don't want your macaron to fall apart. That's the point of this. This is quite a wet mix, so you could easily get away with adding a bit more coconut to it if you wanted to. It's stickier than I thought it would be. So then you just do a tap, 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 and you get this little mound. So what I'm going to do is mound all this up and then show you how we turn these little mounds into mini Matterhorn macaroons. And the reason I thought mini was because I thought if you're having a party or something, no one really wants a giant. I mean, some people do, and I did make the giant ones. If you look on my Instagram, the giant ones I just formed by hand. This to me seemed like a much easier idea than forming them by hand. And also I found that the mini ones cook a little easier just because I cook in a turbo oven. So again, tap, tap, tap. You get your little mound out and you put it down. So I'm really curious to see how much this very small batch is going to make, because it seems like a good amount for 1 or 2 people, like for a little afternoon tea or something for 1 or 2 people, or, you know, if you just want to give a little treat to the kids or something. I just thought that was a really nice idea. And having that uniformity. So upside down, tap, tap, tap. So we've got 3 there so far. Now this, I'm thinking it will make 5, possibly 6. I'm not packing these very tightly though, so they probably could be a little more firmly packed. I definitely think there's about 5 or 6 in this batch, which is actually for something, if you're, say, having a party or doing something else, it's a nice little amount to have. Or if you're like me and you're just on your own. So some of them take a little more coaxing out of the thing than others. And I actually have another tutorial that I'm going to film in between these cooking, because I've got to do this month's munchie. Yep. So you're going to get about 6 of these, and I'm not densely packing them. If you wanted to pack them down, I'd say probably 5. So again, flip, tap, tap, tap. You don't even need oh, and as you can see, that one was not packed well enough. It has fallen apart, so we have to do that again. This is not something, I hope I'm not smelling chocolate cooking, because I left chocolate in my slow cooker to melt, but not in the way you think. It's in mason jars. I just had a whiff of chocolate and I don't want it to burn. Okay, so we do that. And then we tap it out, nice little, and the thing I like about this too is you get a nice even base. Okay, so this one is going to be packed because there's no point, there's not enough mix in here to do a whole other one, so I am going to pack this one just a little denser. You can go through and be really full on, get every little speck of coconut out of the bowl, but I'm not going to do that right now just because I have other things to do and I'm a bit worried about my chocolate. Okay, and there we go, last one. So we got half a dozen out of that. As I said, so, you know, you could probably pack some of these a little lighter. Now, I'm going to grab a baby wipe. because that's what I have close to hand, oddly enough. And just wipe my hands for a minute. You're going to get your hands messy again, so you don't really have to do this. I just didn't want them too sticky. Clear up this bit of coconut. And because I have a glut of tissues and I can't find my paper towel, which is beside me somewhere, I'm just going to dry my hands on that. So now what you've got is half a dozen Matterhorn macaroons. Now this is my own recipe. I know the ones in the park are snowy white on the inside, which is why I say take out the egg yolk if you want them to look exactly the same as Disneyland, and maybe just make sure your almond meal doesn't have flecks in it, or don't add the almond meal at all, just add extra coconut. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to position it here. You're going to take 3 fingers or 4 fingers and you're going to squish up and twist just gently. So I haven't done these before as many but there you go. So that's just a rough, it's not going to look as Matterhorny as the big ones, but I didn't really think doing giant ones because they do take longer to cook and everything. And then twist and just twist a little bit and make sure you get some of those nice little ridges, and there you go. It's not perfect. You're not going to get the perfect Matterhorn shape because it is, and my fingers are probably too big. If you've got a little kid, get them to do this step because you'll get nice. So you're just going to take fingers, squish everything in and twist, and just make sure you're not losing it. The other option is just to turn it into a big kind of pile of mountain and not worry about the ridges, which is also a bit easier. So I'm just going to flick the extra coconut off into my bowl, shape the others, and then they're going in the oven. So that's it. That's the first step. Then what you're going to do is you're going to bake them for 10 to 15 minutes. It's something you need to keep an eye on at around 180. Now in a turbo oven that's around, it is under 10, it's 10 to 12 minutes, but you just need to keep an eye on them because coconut can burn. Now these are going to go very golden. If you don't want them to go golden, I would assume maybe foil over the top. I never worried about that. So that's it. That's the part 1. And then in part 2, I'll come back when they're cooked and you can actually, I'll show you how to finish them off to make them look like Matterhorn macaroons. I hope you're enjoying this tutorial. Please leave a comment below and let me know what Disney food you might like me to try at home to make, or if you're going to attempt this, or even tag Heavenly Imaginings on Instagram or social media to show off your heavenly baking, because that would be really cool. I'd love to see other people attempt my recipe because this is one I made up myself, and honestly it is really good. I'm sure there are other recipes that are very similar out there. I looked at Disney recipes and they were all so freaking complex that I was just like, no, I'm not doing all that. I'm sure I can come up with an easier way. And my way is actually based off, if you've ever had coconut jam slice, or jam and coconut slice, or coconut slice, or whatever it's called, is based off the topping of that with a few tweaks of my own. So that's how I went with it. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon when this is done, because if I keep rambling, it'll never get finished. Bye, my angels and devils, and all who may wander here. If you're not already one of my incredible, amazing, wonderful subscribers, please click that red subscribe button. I would love to have you. I have such a mixed bag of a channel that I'm sure you'll find something you will enjoy. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, click the like button. Until next time, Matterhorn macaroons, anyone? Bye!